I want to talk about Donald Trump because in 2011, I hosted the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I told some jokes about him. But that year, you actually emceed. People forget this happened very, soon before. You did the Comedy Central roast of Donald Trump.
That's right.
And you emceed it. And he actually seemed to be a pretty good sport, certainly a better sport there than he was a few months later. What was your memory of that night?
The strange thing was, I had the same thought, he's taken all this. The only thing I think we weren't allowed to joke about was the bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Bankruptcies. Mm-hmm. Everything else was kind of on the table. That was the one thing he was sensitive about. I guess
that's the one that goes the farthest against what he presents himself as.
Yeah. But I just remember thinking, man, this guy is really friggin' boring.
Yeah.
That this is
like in your interactions with him.
It's like this guy's just I meet the businessmen at that level that I've met in the past. It's kind of the same reaction. It's like they just seem like dull guys.
Yeah. And dull guys don't make for great roast because they finish. They close the night. They get up there.
Every joke that we told, it's like, hey, Donald Trump, I don't remember what the hell the joke was. When he has sex, he closes his eyes and imagines himself jerking off. And I look over, and that joke and I look over and Trump's just basically like, it's like, kind of like, all right, I'll give him that one.
Yeah.
So not the same guy that he seems to be now.
No, he's turned it. He's evolved. Mm-hmm. So, congratulations, Family Guy's 16th season.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
and it's everywhere.
Yeah,
the show is everywhere, multiple countries, and which is nice and easy when you have an animated show because you just have people re-record in their language. But are there jokes that you make that do not translate into other languages?
There have to be. There have to be. I mean, the show has weird titles elsewhere. I was told that in Korea the show is called The Shocking Family.
Well.
That's the title of the show.
I like that they were worried that people would say it as guidance if they didn't call it that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this is a regular family.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, and that kind of gives everything away up front.
Do you ever get to hear do they run by? Hey, here's the voice of the person in Korea who's going to do the characters?
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't. And I don't, every once in a while I'll catch a clip of Family Guy or Ted in German, and it's like Peter, but he's like, hey, Lois, morgen werden zum Diskothek again, yeah. And it's like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know how the show is perceived there.
Do when you hear it, do you have an appreciation where you say, that's a pretty good German Peter?
I'm just glad somebody else is worrying about it.
Yeah, the micromanaging, that's a loser's game.
Yeah.
With these characters, these voices, do you just sort of talk until you find something you like? Or are they based on people?
They come from different places. I mean, Stewie, as I've said in the past, is based on Rex Harrison, the character actor from it was Henry Higgins. Peter was based on a security guard that I went to, who worked at my college, at the Rhode Island School of Design.
Does he know this?
I think they don't know which one, and I've never kind of made it clear which one. There's a very specific guy, but they all. The word's gotten back to me that several of them, are like, oh yeah, that's me he's talking about.
And do you think when he says that and people hear it, they go, oh, it is you? Do you think is it that close to him that they would say?
It's possible. It's possible. You know what? They're a lovely bunch of guys. If I can make them all happy, believing that they're all Peter,
that's true.
Then that makes me happy.
And so obviously you were Rhode Island School of Design artist before anything else, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
And you. I was hearing that your first cartoon actually got you in trouble, which sort of certainly trends towards a guy who makes a show called The Shocking Family.
Yes.
What was your early cartoon and your early complaint?
Shockingly, I wanted to work for Disney when I was in college, if you can believe that.
Yeah.
And then
that would have been a whole different...
That went away.
Yeah.
And and no, I got a hate letter from the town priest for doing a
Can it be a hate letter from?
Well, I don't know. Listen, I was doing comics for a local paper. I was 10 years old, getting a letter from a priest. Wait a second. Hang on. I was 10. The cartoon was a guy getting communion at church, and he says, "Can I have fries with that?" I was 10 years old.
10 years old. That is a very. That's a really good, edgy 10-year-old joke that
absolutely.
anybody 14 or over should not be offended by
Yeah,
it.
no, it's fine. It's fine. You might see it in Family Circus.
Yeah.
But yeah, the letter said, "Shame on you for insulting the Almighty God and those who love Him."
Wow.
So yeah.
That sounds like a priest who has been asked a few times, can I have fries with this? Yeah.
Exactly. And from that point on, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with my life.
And how far, like, were you still, Disney was actually when you were at
In
RISD?
college, yeah.
And like, when did you realize, oh, this isn't gonna, I shouldn't do Disney?
You know, it was twofold. I started doing stand-up and was getting laughs with a certain type of material, and I thought, well, this isn't going to fly there. And then The Simpsons obviously reinvented the whole ball game, and oh God, cartoons are once again not just for kids. So it was twofold.